when I started doing my healing work many years ago, things became very, very real. Very real. Meaning I had one foot in this 3D world. And when I took the red pill, metaphysically speaking, it really opened my eyes up. And it was one of the toughest things that at the time I ever did. It really opened my eyes up. Because we're not just as a human being, but as a spiritual being. And when that veil around, when that got released, and I started doing the healing work, man, there was almost an uncontrollable amount of either rage or anger, or simply the understanding that why is this not publicly taught? I'm aware of it now, why it's not taught. And I trust it as the 5D continues to accelerate here, that at every point, that when people start waking up, or I'll use me as the example, as I started to awaken, man, was I so upset. Found out that the high school, college, university was simply a joke, just a mere formality. All the programs that are coming from the family, the culture, the religion, they are the surface programs that literally control everything. Because underneath those programs that are recorded within the subconscious, once you started releasing the emotional attachments attached to those lower frequencies, so the beliefs, the systems, the programming from mom and dad, and I like to emphasize here, there's no judgment, there's no blame with this. There's zero blame with this, because every lifetime when I kept showing up here, for each and every one of us when we show up here, we're coming here to honor the soul contract. And the soul contract is binding with the universe, and every one of us has our own soul. We volunteer as a human ambassador on behalf of the soul. The soul doesn't want to come down here. It wants nothing to do with this 3D world. And when it comes down here, it's taking a massive risk and really trusting that myself as the ambassador, that I get the job done here. And the job done is to physically close out all of the lower dimensional emotional entanglements. These are all the interferences. The soul on the other side cannot release these negative frequencies or these negative energies simply because it's in the spiritual world. There's laws set in place by the universe, or we call it the cosmos. And in order for the soul to free itself, it has to come down here with an ambassador. And when it comes down here, and it spends its life along with the spiritual guides from the light, they're dedicating their life that when I show up here and when everybody else shows up here, that at one point we either awaken to this, or it's another, either as a wasted life or a recycled life doing the same nonsense lifetime after lifetime. So what I'd like to share here is at one point, several months into this, when I really went into the deep end of the healing work, I found out that literally everything is there as a lie. Everything as a lie with this. And I'd like to elaborate on this. At one point, I had to be pushed off out of my own comfort zone. And that comfort zone was like a safety arena for me. It was a safety net. And thank goodness the universe intervened, meaning that, hey, Stephen, if this lifetime is not dealt with, I'd be leaving here, going back to the other side, and then I'd be meeting my soul there, and my soul's going to be asking, hey, Stephen, did you get the soul contract done? And either a yes or a no. And equally, the soul's going to be asking, did you ever reach out and ask for help? Now, when I'm stating this here, this is not general or public type information or knowledge. So thankfully, I was a very inquisitive guy. I've been a very driven guy, and I've been very, very hungry with what makes things tick. And I thought at one point, due to society's norms, that you either go to school, either as a doctor, a lawyer, as a commercial pilot, or as an officer, whatever that goal is, whatever is deemed by society as the norm. And when I started to unplug all of the lower emotional nonsense, and what they are is, not just as a physical being, but as a spiritual being, when I started, in order to address the physical world, I had to go into the spiritual side of me, which I had absolutely no freaking clue about. But the cool part is once I identified with the feelings, I don't need this anymore, and through the guided meditations, and then being around people that would push me to the same level, the same soul depth as myself, These are the biggest gifts or the biggest blessings of my life. And as they pushed to get the best out of me with this, energetically, all the lower feelings started coming out. And when they started to come out, all that programming, all that heavy programming and everything else started to come out very, very quickly. And I'd like to emphasize this not just as a human being, but as a spiritual being. When I was working with my spiritual guides from the light, it's them, and with my soul, they are the ones, and with the healing work I was doing with, or the gentleman was doing the healing work with, they're all from the light. This is key and this is essential with this. Without them, none of this would be possible. This video would be useless, be a complete waste of somebody's time. So that's a very, very key ingredient with this. And I started to unravel or unplug all the mess here. I was astounded with the amount of programming, the amount of limitations. And it came from, obviously, from mom and dad, from the initial experiences with zero. There's no judgment, there's no blame with this, because we're all showing up here. And this is, like I said, this information just simply wasn't out there. So when the universe gave me the ultimatum to start stepping into this, especially with the healing work and with my soul, I started putting 2 and 2 together. And I said, I'm going to do whatever it takes, because when I got into this, I was in a rough spot. There was no sugarcoating that. The universe also showed me, or gifted me, with several golden pearls or golden nuggets of insight. And at one point I'm like, I got nothing to lose here. And every time I kept moving forward, the universe, my soul, or those from the light, they would give me like a nugget or something to hold on to, something that would sustain me to keep moving, to go to the next level, the next gate. And as I continue to unravel all the lower mess, meaning the emotional entanglements, and the tough ones are shame and guilt. These are nasty. There's no other words to describe it. They are nasty and they're hidden. And they're all buried within the subconscious, and it's even a good portion within the heart. And as we live in this physical realm, within the base chakra, right where the hips are, and within the sacral. Those are the 2 chakras down at the bottom that are heavily affected by this physical world that we live in. And as I started to unplug all the emotional entanglements, that can include resentment, bitterness, anger was a nasty one, and anger is simply a feeling that masks a lot of the stuff that's hidden underneath it. And it's a tough one, because when I started to awaken to it, I'm like, oh my gosh, I had no idea. I had no freaking clue of what I was holding on to all this time. And I simply thought, the harder I worked, the more I worked, another degree, another diploma, another form of certification, the more successful I'd be. And that was a complete lie. That's the most obsolete thing that's out there. And I'm saying that openly. That's from my own experience. As I started to really awaken inside of me about what was going on, it was tough, because every time when something would release outside or from within inside of me and I'd let it go, I would get a test from the universe right away. And the test from the universe is simply saying, do I want to hold on to that experience, or do I want to let it go? And I'll tell you, there was a lot of things that said to the universe, I don't need this anymore. Soul, thank you very much. Thank you for the experience. Thank you for the experience. I'm now ready to move on, and I'm ready to move on very, very quickly with this. And I really wish that others are going to feel either inspired with this or taking their own action with it. And simply to trust your own gut, your own intuition with it, cultivate your intuition with it. And it doesn't take a lifetime doing this. It's going to upset a lot of people that when you start shining your own light, in order to awaken that, you have to let go of the darkness. And it's a real thing. It's tangible. You can feel it. You can sense it. You can slice it with a knife. And for those, if you're having a tough experience in life, or if you really hit like a low energy or a low frequency, if you hit a wall somewhere, there's another way out of this. So we are literally, as an eternal being, it's very, very unfortunate that in this human world that we live in here, things have been dumbed down so badly. And I'm trusting that within this lifetime, especially for the new kids that are coming out, or for those that are bold enough or courageous enough or have the courage inside to go inside, say, I don't do this anymore, and I'm willing to free myself with it, All I can say is you're going to go through some awakening periods that are going to be really sobering. They're really sobering. And the tests are real. Some of them are brutal, but they're also the most liberating thing. And when I started freeing myself of all these lies or things that I had told myself or whatever I believed, and when I started releasing them, I was like, man, that was the best thing that ever happened. So it was an experience. I'm grateful and thankful that whatever was there, it's come and gone and it's finished. And at one point, you just continue with the growth, with the universe, whatever you believe in, either a source, God, creator, your soul, with your light being, and you trust it, because we're never here on our own with this. We're always being guided in the right direction with this. And the universe will give anyone a second opportunity or second chance to redeem themselves back into the arms of the universe. That's it for today. Thank you for your time, and like this video if you like to like it and share it, and be kind with yourself, treat each other well. Until next time, have an awesome day.